Story 1. Seeing someone I know in public and having to decide whether to wave or pretend I did not see them. Story 2. When the Bluetooth connection to my headphones doesn't connect quickly enough and my music starts playing loudly. Story 3. I am old and uniquely non-technological. When I have to call Apple support for help with my iPad or phone, I lack the confidence to look online for suggestions, which makes me anxious. Their support staff is polite, helpful, and patient. My grown son once observed, "Mom, you're the smartest person I know. Why does technology frustrate you so much?" My answer was that intelligence can be like two sides of a coin. If you are skilled in one area, such as philosophy, your understanding may not extend to other kinds of knowledge. Story 4. I don't know if this ever happens to people, but notifications on my phone give me anxiety, as do those on my work laptop. I guess it developed from work. I turned off all notifications. It has been 3 years. Story 5. Going grocery shopping makes me think about mass consumerism, assembly lines, microplastics, animal cruelty, obesity, and the effects of artificial dyes. There are always too many people, noises, and lights. It's overwhelming. Story 6. Matching with a guy on a dating app. Is his first message going to be inappropriate? Will we chat for a while before he sends an offensive message? When will he become inappropriate? Story 7. When I'm with friends and they invite others over unexpectedly, I suddenly have to meet new people. Story 8. I fear that my food will get stuck in a vending machine. I worry I will be the person who can't unchain the shopping cart at Aldi. Story 9. When I am walking somewhere and someone is walking just as fast behind me, should I speed up or let them pass? Story 10. Receiving a message that says, "Can we talk?" can be nerve-wracking. Just express what you need to say because my heart is already racing. Story 11. Unexpected change of plans. I was planning a relaxing weekend with nothing to do. Whoops, I guess I am seeing my in-laws on Friday, friends on Saturday, and my family on Sunday. By golly, this happens often, and I have a hard time saying no. Story 12. Someone is having a phone conversation and suddenly turns to me and says, "They want to say hi," and hands me the phone. Story 13. Having to align my tires with the car wash tracks feels like trying to land a plane every time. Story 14. When my phone rings while at work, I assume it is the daycare telling me my child is sick or hurt and that I need to go get them. Story 15. Conversation. Even before I speak to them, I imagine their facial expressions and reactions, as well as my next line and their response. This is a problem. Story 16. Friends or anyone really showing up at my place without warning makes me think, oh God, they are going to see how messy my place is and judge me for being a slob. Story 17. People are standing too close in line for the register. If I take a step away from them, they move one step too, as if everyone is just shifting forward. I feel immediate anxiety that I can't create some space without being confrontational and awkward. Story 18. Turning right at a red light can be challenging, especially if there is zero visibility and it is a busy street. The car behind me will honk if I do not proceed quickly. Story 19. Making left turns is challenging for me. I would rather drive in a complete circle and go an extra 2 miles to avoid them. It's not that I'm incompetent. I just get very anxious. Making eye contact, especially while wearing my glasses, is difficult. Socializing is hard, too. Besides my siblings, I only feel comfortable with my children and pets. I often struggle to find the right words, which is honestly debilitating. Story 20. Talking to people on the phone for the first time can be challenging, even if I have interacted with that person multiple times before in person. Story 21. Ordering something new. I am anxious that I will be wasting money if I do not like it and feel forced to eat it. Story 22. The commercial for Jane by Design triggered feelings of anxiety in me. I watched the show on a streaming platform years ago, and the commercial often aired late at night around 2 a.m. during my childhood, which made me feel like I was staying up too late. Story 23. When I am taking a walk and I reach a crosswalk with a car waiting for me to pass, the driver gestures for me to use the crosswalk and indicates that they will wait. Please do not watch me walk. I would prefer to wait for the car to pass, remain unnoticed, and enjoy my walk as an individual. I do not understand why this affects me, but it does. Story 24. Ordering food alone is why I love mobile ordering. Talking on the phone, making appointments, participating in any social activity. Story 25. Checking out at the store can be exhausting. I will check multiple times to make sure I have enough cash and withdraw more than I need just to be safe, or I will check my bank account multiple times if I am using my card. Story 26. When I go into Kroger, I see a small table set up by the exit with two nicely dressed people sitting there with pamphlets. Story 27. Vacuums create a loud noise, and I immediately panic when one is turned on. I cannot be in the same room as a vacuum cleaner. Story 28. For me, hearing a phone ring unexpectedly is intense. Even though it is a common sound, my heart races because I instantly worry it is bad news. Story 29. Waiting for an appointment I have scheduled that day, even if it's something I want to do. This is why I schedule everything as early as possible when I can. Appointment anxiety is challenging. Story 30. Driving on the freeway triggers a full fight or flight panic response in me. It's the speed and carelessness of drivers on the freeway that affects me. I don't experience the same issue when driving on local roads. Story 31. I've been financially strained after starting a new job and had to cancel my phone plan for a while until I have enough money to get a new one. I feel significantly less stressed without the constant worry of my phone ringing. I think this stems from my parents being on and off sick throughout much of my life. I was always afraid to answer the phone and potentially hear bad news. I will never forget the moment when my mom called to let me know that my dad had passed away only a few hours after leaving the hospital. Story 32. Driving onto car wash guide rails every single time. I am always fairly certain I will mess up somehow, cause the car to get stuck and hold everybody else up. Story 33. Any new ride, even if it is a simple one, is exciting. I am trying to get over that, though. I have been on one big roller coaster in my life and loved it. Story 34. Waking up can be challenging. I experience significant anxiety that is mostly managed, but I sometimes wake up in a panic, as if expecting something bad to happen. In reality, my life is mostly wonderful and I am generally happy. I truly appreciate that every day. A comforting cuddle with my husband and our dog, along with a hot shower, helps me feel fine for the rest of the day. Story 35. Social situations can be challenging, especially when participating in activities like bowling or axe throwing one-on-one. I find it difficult to engage in these activities unless I feel very comfortable with the person. Story 36. Seeing someone you know but being too far away to greet them can be awkward. You end up staring as you close the distance until you are close enough to say hello. Story 37. Waking up in the morning, leaving the house, going to the grocery store, getting gas, and doing things by myself. Story 38. Being at the drive-thru window and not knowing what to order while looking at the menu. Story 39. I need to arrive earlier than everyone else, so I won't feel terrified that I am late. Story 40. Any kind of phone call, whether it's making a reservation at a restaurant, inquiring about something, or scheduling an appointment with my doctor, requires me to prepare a script beforehand because I stutter significantly. Story 41. We need to talk. Great, now I won't be able to eat until we have that conversation, and then my stomach will calm down from the level of nausea caused by food poisoning. Story 42. Bathrooms that have the fan automatically turn on with the lights are not for me. I do not want to listen to the unpleasant noise while I use the restroom. Story 43. Not anymore because Searchalign, but anything related to transportation including cars, buses, trains, and planes. Cinemas, restaurants, parties, and gatherings. Any event that I was required to attend, which was not optional. After years of therapy and medication, it all came down to me being a control freak and not liking situations where I didn't feel in control. Story 44. Ordering food is something I practice repeatedly to know what to say. However, I often panic in the moment, fearing I will fumble over my words. It rarely happens, but my anxiety convinces me that this time will be different. Story 45. When I am out walking and come to a spot that is just a bit too high to step down from, I have to make a small leap. Story 46. Driving through for anything other than food, where you need to have back and forth conversations through a glass barrier, such as at a pharmacy or for drive-through cannabis pickup, is unnecessary. Story 47. Going into a store and realizing there is only one other person in the store, the worker. For some reason, my brain turns off. I walk around pretending to look and quickly exit. Story 48. Escalators. Going up is easier than going down. I usually find stairs or an elevator instead of going down. Story 49. Stopping at a stop sign and waiting for a driver in the long line of traffic to allow me to proceed. Story 50. Getting the mail reminds me of a time shaped by childhood financial insecurity. Letters from lawyers would arrive and ruin the day, eventually leading to the loss of our house. These days, my bills are paid and organized, and I have no fears, but the old feelings linger even 30 years later. Story 51. When the television or music is too loud, knocking at the door, people raising their voices, driving over a body of water, and when the traffic lights are out, requiring it to be treated as a four-way stop. Making a phone call and simply existing. Story 52. My boss came up to my table at work to say hello to the dog I am working on. I don't know why, but it makes me uneasy. Story 53. Group birthday dinners. Why are we all pretending to split this evenly when Greg ordered 4 cocktails and I ordered fries? Story 54. Driving or learning to drive can be challenging. It's difficult to multitask, and drivers are often unreliable. Story 55. Paperwork. The fastest way to make my brain stop working is to hand me a form to fill out. Why can't I remember anything all of a sudden? Story 56. Somebody handed me a live phone with someone on the other end. I have phone anxiety anyway, but that situation is intolerable. Story 57. Intersections with numerous freeway ramps make me concerned about accidentally going the wrong way. Story 58. Walking outside in the spring when my landscaping is a mess makes it difficult for me to leave my house without feeling frustrated by its appearance. Story 59. Hearing any iPhone alarm going off near me scares me instantly that I missed something I was supposed to do. Story 60. A phone call or a one-on-one conversation requires extra attention if they start asking questions. Story 61. Getting up to use the bathroom when surrounded by a room full of people or when out to dinner with a group can be uncomfortable. Story 62. When someone says, "Can I ask you something?" and then disappears like a video game boss is about to load. Yes, you can ask. Just please don't give me 13 business days to spiral into countless worst-case scenarios. I'm already writing my apology for crimes I haven't committed. Also, accidentally opening the front camera and seeing my double chin looking back at me is an instant existential crisis. I look like I just woke up from a long nap in the basement of a haunted diner. And when a group laughs and I don't hear the joke, I suddenly feel like the main character in a drama where everyone is in on it. My brain thinks, they're laughing because they know you eat string cheese wrong. Story 63. Forgetting something and having to go back down the aisle I was just in makes me feel like everyone is watching me and knows I messed up. Meeting new people and speaking to them can be challenging. Running late happens sometimes, but it gives me intense anxiety, which makes the situation worse. Story 64. Driving in a snowstorm or hail, I remember my grandfather and I would go on long trips all over the country. We would encounter a snowstorm, and he would talk casually as if it were a bright, sunny day in California. Story 65. People are running not for exercise like jogging, but for other reasons. I'm afraid they will fall. Story 66. When I leave my house and see my neighbor outside, I feel stressed about whether I should make eye contact and wave, or if they are too busy. Should I just keep staring until they look up? Is it rude if I don't acknowledge them? Story 67. When someone near me starts sniffling and coughing because they are clearly very sick and congested, I dislike getting respiratory infections. They always linger for me and develop into sinus infections. Story 68. The manager messaged, "Hey, can we have a quick chat?" I immediately thought I was being fired. even though I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. If they suggest having a chat tomorrow with no context, it means no sleep or relaxation for me. Story 69, going to the house I grew up in. I had a great childhood there as well. It just doesn't feel right and gives me the creeps. Story 70. When I was 10, I thought it would be funny to have my sister slip on a banana peel like in cartoons. To my surprise, when she slipped and fell, she broke her leg. Now, every time I see a banana, I feel a sense of guilt. Story 71. Crossing the street, especially at pedestrian crosswalks, makes me feel like I'm wasting drivers' time as I sense their eyes on me. Balloons. Story 72. The neurotic and intrusive landlady loved to be overly curious and was on the property almost every day, conducting constant inspections and being very overbearing and micromanaging. Thankfully, she finally sold the property and retired, and the new landlady seems very nice and mostly hands-off. Story 73. I have too many unread work emails in the morning. More than 20 real emails, and my anxiety kicks in. I'm high-functioning and check my email frequently. However, when I log on in the morning and see many emails to respond to, it can be tough. I manage it because I want to pay my mortgage and eat. Story 74. When the supervisor comes to observe everyone and judge their performance at work, it can be stressful. Additionally, I was frustrated when I was told that I need to record people's heights while they are still standing at the stadiometer. The stadiometer is 10 feet away from the nearest computer, making it difficult to see the measurement from that distance, even if it were at the right angle for me to read. Story 75. A pile of paperwork consisting of or resulting from bills, emails, phone calls, text messages, subscriptions, membership upsells, advertisements, surveys, and coupons. Story 76. Tomatoes. Oh, I'm not scared of tomatoes. They're delicious. The anxiety happens after I eat them, and I even experience panic attacks. Story 77. When someone texts "call me," it usually indicates that the topic is too serious to discuss over text. Story 78. Can I ask you a question about video games? 9 out of 10, the most absurdly grotesque questions you could think of. Story 79. A professional sets up a specific time to call me, like a doctor's phone appointment. Especially if you hear them typing during the call, there is a sense of anticipation for some reason leading up to it. The same applies to video calls. Story 80. Dating as a man can be challenging. I often worry about how to stand out from others, feeling like I am in a constant uphill battle. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.